I first want to just thank everyone for coming out. This means a lot to us. And I'll try to do this without crying, but NC was a very instrumental part of this community for many, many years. And he is what kept this little town alive when all the other little towns were dying. And for that, I think we owe him a great deal. And I'm very excited that the City Council has decided to do this. I'm going to ask Mark Grizzle, if he will, to come and speak on behalf of the community. And then NC's daughter, Holly, is going to come and speak on behalf of the family. And then we'll have a small reception inside. So if y'all will, I'll let Mark come on now.
Appreciate the opportunity to talk with y'all for a minute. I think there's somebody that probably is a lot more qualified to talk about NC than me, but anytime I have a chance to talk about it, I want to do that. About 20 years ago, Paulette and I were invited to an auction up here. NC was having a sale, and an auctioneer by the name of L.G. McDonald had called us and asked us to come up. We came up, and NC was introduced to us by L.G. And the first thing I asked NC was, am I pronouncing your name right? It's spelled L-O-W, and that sounds like low instead of loud. He let me know real quick that it was loud. It was not low. He did not like that. Paul and I didn't buy anything at the auction, but NC and LG were trying at that time to revitalize the little town of Talking Rock. And after the sale, they asked us to hang around. They wanted to show us something, so they carried us down to the old building down at the end of the street, which was kind of the town eyesore at that time. And the whole day was looking good. They had convinced Paulette and I that we needed that building down there, which subsequently became Holly Hodge. And it kind of changed our life from that point on. We started working on the little building, and NC and Helen became frequent guests, and they'd come by and check, see how things were going, and we became really good friends. After they realized that we were committed in doing this, they made the announcement to us that they were going to open their store back up, and so within a few short months, we had 2 stores opened up in Talking Rock, which really is just a reemergence of the business area in Talking Rock, and it's grown from there. We became really good friends. We traveled the roads together in this little community. We traveled the creeks, the creek banks, the railroad tracks. NC was enthusiastic about telling us everything he knew about Talking Rock and the community. He loved this community. Not only did he love the community, but it was dear to him, but he traveled all over the country. While in the military, traveled all over the world. But nothing was as dear to him as Talking Rock, Georgia. And he really promoted it. He held quite a few positions in the town. He was mayor. He provided financial assistance to us when we needed it, input. He was a kind of behind the scenes guy, though. He didn't want the recognition for it. He just wanted to get things done. I really gained a lot of respect for NC after knowing him quite a few years there. He had the same values that I really like to see in a person. He was a very religious person. He was a patriot. He loved his Helen, as he called her, and his kids. He loved them. He was a Democrat, and that may offend some of you, but he was a staunch Democrat. And he was a little eccentric, I'll have to say. A couple of things. I want to mention a couple of things, but some things I can't mention, and some things I probably don't know. But I was there the day that he brought Helen a bouquet of gold-filled roses. Who in the world would get their wife some gold-filled roses? But that was just a funny thing, I thought. And I was here when he brought the old rock. It's just laying just on the other side of the building down there. He and Helen played on that rock as kids. And he wanted that here, and he brought it here, I think, on her anniversary, wasn't it?
her birthday.
On her birthday. And people still are in awe of that old rock down there. It's kind of funny. But he was a good person. I miss him. He left this world a little premature. I miss his smile as much as anything. NC was a mover and a shaker. He got things done, like the John Quintons we got here, Randall Payne over there, Cheryl, even the new generation, the Jesse and the Ben Wells. I'm glad to see them getting involved with the community. Lifelong residents who live here and take pride in their area makes people like me want to come here. And I feel proud to be a part of the community. And I think it's only right that we recognize somebody like NC. And I'm just proud to be a part of it, and thank you all for coming and allowing me to speak to you.
Thank you, Mark. Before Holly comes on, I'm going to tell you a little story that my grandmother told me. NC and Helen used to live in this little red house right here, and Holly was, I think it was Holly that was a baby. But Helen, if the child took a nap, she'd run out to the store and make sure everything was all right. My grandpa was out there one day, and he wanted to know where the baby was. She said he's out there in bed asleep. Well, you better get back out there. Somebody will take that baby. He was worried to death that child was just down the street asleep. And I've always thought of that every time I think about Holly. But I grew up with NC's kids, and they were always good friends to all of us. We went to school together, we played together. Michael had a pony, and he wanted me to ride it. I didn't know if I was going to get up on it or not. We pulled it out there in front of NC's store, right there at that old step. It's still there. I got up on that pony and got one leg over, and the next thing I know, I'm over on the other side. Michael thought that was hilarious, but I told him, I said, no more pony rides for me. But they've been such an intricate part of our community. And Holly, if you would come on and give us your thoughts on your father.
Well, do you have all day? First of all, apologies from both my brothers. Joey and Michael really wanted to be here. Both had conflicting things. In fact, Joey's was delayed by the snow. He was actually supposed to be on a retreat several weeks ago, and it got called off because of the bad weather, and this was something he really needed to do, because I know he's absolutely heartbroken in not being here. Michael hasn't kept the close ties to Talking Rock, but Joey and then kind of me in the middle, both literally and figuratively. So, sometimes your siblings leave you holding the bag. In this case, my siblings left me holding the honor. So, a big thank you from all of us. And of course, the person that I most miss here today is that my mother's not here. She's living in Rock Creek Manor, and she's doing pretty well. Because of her dementia issues, it's just better that she not have her situation change. I will be leaving from here to go share with her about this. She had actually seen the article in the paper, somebody had given it to her, and so I'll tell you a very story that touches me. There's a watercolor print that Lynn Lumley did of the street scene, and it features this in the kind of the middle of the thing, and it was back when the name was on
the letters.
Yeah, the letters were up there before the facade got redone, and she loves that picture. She looks at it and she said, I just love looking at the street scene, and I love seeing the name, the building with Daddy's name on it. In fact, she got all over me a couple of weeks ago because I set a vase of flowers where it blocked her precious picture. And it's great when you think you're a middle-aged, self-assured woman of the world, and your mother can make you feel 6 again. She still does very much have her heart here in Talking Rock. We're very thankful that Rock Creek is there to take care of her, but she still has very fond memories and loves the town. And so not only do I consider that you guys are honoring my dad here, but also my mother. So to share the thoughts that my brothers asked me to pass along, this is from Michael. He says, "Please accept my regret at not being able to attend today's gracious event. But I very much want everyone to know my appreciation of this continuing honor given my dad and our family by having his name attached to this community building in his hometown. He loved Talking Rock, and he made all of his family know that it was truly a special and unique place to live, even though it was small and maybe insignificant to those outsiders not acquainted with it. My dad, when introduced to strangers, no matter if they were well-known political leaders, successful business people, or some guys he met on a boat ramp or in a campground somewhere, would always proclaim that he was from Talking Rock, as if it were New York, London, or Paris. Frankly, what it kind of is. While my dad was well known across many circles and often recognized as a leader, as well as something of a character, his fierce pride in this distinctive little place with the interesting name Talking Rock made him memorable to all kinds of people wherever he went. Thank you all for remembering him in this way and for this great honor." And Joey says, "Among the many things my daddy loved, I think the three greatest of his loves were God, his family, and Talking Rock. As his son, I was privileged to be the recipient of this great man's great love. But you didn't have to be a member of his family to receive his great love. He gave it to his neighbors and people in the surrounding community as well. Daddy was never an overtly religious man, and he never preached a sermon. In fact, he rarely even led a prayer out loud. But he truly understood what Jesus had in mind when he said, 'Love your neighbor as yourself.' When I think of Daddy, many good memories of fishing and hunting trips come to mind. But the biggest thing I think about is how he was always helping someone and showing love for them in his way. I think if he were here today, he would be a little proud and a little embarrassed for this honor, and very thankful for it. But mostly he would just be glad Talking Rock was together as a community, and he'd tell us all to take care of one another. On behalf of Daddy, the family, and myself, I would like to say thank you for this, and God bless you." And then to wrap up, a few comments from me, and I am unapologetically, unabashedly a daddy's girl. So I'm going to be a little biased. I hope you'll indulge me and understand. Again, a big thank you to the folks who specifically put this together, and to the whole town. Daddy was mayor for a number of years, and so for those of you who serve on the county or the city town government, and again, it's a community effort. I mean, those of you who don't hold an official position still very much contribute. Thank you, because I realize it can be a thankless job. And as someone who's left Talking Rock, but still, keeping contact, I have a better appreciation than ever for Talking Rock. It is truly a special place. I hope you all, and I know you do, appreciate very much what you have here. And again, to echo Mark's comments of a lot of little towns have just kind of literally fallen off the map, and the group of you gathered here has done a tremendous job to keep this place on the map. Although when I was younger, it was fun because people say, "Where are you from?" and I would say someplace you've never heard of. That doesn't really work now. Talking Rock is on the map. I can say Talking Rock, and they know what it is. Just to add a little bit more of my personal comments to what my brothers said, Daddy left me, and I think all of you who knew him, a couple of big legacies. Specifically to me, he left me knowing what it is to be loved, cared for, and protected. That's the daddy's girl part. We lost Daddy 5 years ago in May. I can't believe it's been that long. So I grew up in a tremendous, loving household headed by a great man. Daddy's example of how to live is one I would like to strive to live up to. I don't think I do. He was always an example of how to treat others with respect and how to deal with people with integrity, and demonstrated a willingness to help out. I can remember as a child people coming and knocking on the door for various reasons, and I don't remember my dad ever saying no to anybody. So it's the best start any person could ever ask for. Parents who led by example. So again, very, very, very special. He would be pleased. I don't know, what your philosophy on whether people in heaven can consciously know what's going on down here. I tend to think not, because I think they would be troubled by some of the things they see. And I tend to believe heaven is just a happy place. But maybe he's in heaven with a particularly big grin on his face, and maybe he's, in his typical joking, have fun sort of way, making some light of the fact that we're all here about to have the rain fall down on us. Just held off just a little bit. And but anyway, thanks so much for this. This is a true honor.
Holly, will you help me remember? We now dedicate this to N.C. Loud Jr. building, dedicated to the memory of N.C. Loud Jr. in honor of his long-term volunteer service to the town of Talking Rock. If any of you have not been here many years, you have no idea what this man did and how many hours he put in for this little town. And one of my fondest memories of NC, I was just a little girl when my grandfather passed away, but he was one of the first people there to offer my grandmother anything she needed. Anything, Miss Dillard. He said, you just let me know what you need and I'll see to it that you got it. He was there when we were trying to get my uncle home from the service. And he made some contacts with his political friends, and the next thing we know, Uncle Kenneth was home. That's the type of person he was. And you didn't have to live in Talking Rock. He just had to know you. It didn't matter. It was the community. This little town goes further than the little boundaries. We are a community, as is very evident by all the people who are here. And I thank you very much for coming out and helping us give this honor to NC. We're going to have a small reception inside, so y'all please come in and join us. And we can all share our memories of NC. Thank you very much.